The original Catrina was created in 1910, about the start of the Mexican Revolution by José Guadalupe Posadas, a Mexican printmaker who created political cartoons. The original name was La Calavera Gabancera. Let's hear about the origin of La Catrina.
In the early 20th century, especially in 1910, there was a very important artist in Mexico whose name was José Guadalupe Posada. He was an engraver, a caricaturist. He used to make portraits of people, and in those days newspapers didn't have photographs. It was very expensive to put photographs on newspapers. So newspapers used to hire this artist, and well, this guy was very, very popular because all his characters were very funny, they did a click with the people. So Catrina is one of his creations. Usually what he did was just the face of the lady with a very fancy hat, yeah? So that was the origin of the Catrina.
After a few years, Diego Rivera, artist and muralist, came into scene painting this mural of La Catrina in full body for the first time next to his famous wife, Frida Kahlo.
Over the years, it has been changing. In 1948, Diego Rivera, the very famous Mexican muralist, he did a very big mural where in the center he was painted, Diego Rivera, as a child. In one hand he had the Catrina, but this was the first time that Catrina was painted in full body. The original one was just the head and the hat. And now we can see it, imagine it, on a fancy dress from the late 19th century, Catrina. And it was Diego, and on the other side of Diego was Frida Kahlo. So that was part of a big mural. And all the icons that took part of the rest of the mural were elements of Mexican culture. So that's how the Catrina was now being able to be seen in full body.
From that moment until now, we can see Catrinas all over the world in many different presentations. People are dressed and paint as a Catrina, and it's how we end up adding this element on the Day of the Dead as well.
And from that image, other artists, especially artisans, started making ceramics or paper mache sculptures of the Catrina. There's a famous, very, very famous Mexican family, the Linares family, that in the 1980s they invented the alebrijes, a fantastical animal made of paper mache. They were also very important family because they started doing this Catrina in life size but made of paper mache. Many of their pieces are in museums all over the world, like in the British Museum, also in the Mexican Art Museum in Chicago, in many books. So that's how it started to be very common. There's also a place in Michoacan State whose town, the name of the town is Capula, Mexico. In Capula, all the town works from making dolls, the Catrina dolls made of clay, ceramics. So it has been very popular. And now over the last few years, people are starting to dress like a Catrina, paint their face like a sugar skull, and dress very fancy in the style of the late 19th century. And that's why we now celebrate Day of the Dead also with the Catrina. But that's an element that it's new. The last 50 years maybe, but it has been very important now in modern days because everyone, especially the ladies, can dress as a Catrina.